Namaste, beloved. How are you? My name is Syma, and I am an international sacred feminine and spiritual coach, healer, and best-selling author. And I am so grateful to announce that my new book, Goddess Reclaimed: 13 Initiations to Unleash Your Sacred Feminine Power, is the blessed latest bestseller. It made #1 on its launch day, on its birthing date on Amazon in the New Age Goddesses categories, which was such an honor because I read so many books in that category. So to be there and have it become #1 instantly was just such an honor and a blessing. And I'm so grateful to all of you who've supported the book and bought the book. And I'm so excited to share some guidance with you today from the book. So it's just been such a labor of love and this heart offering, my offering to the goddesses, to the goddess within you, within every single woman, because as you know, everything I do is to support you in reclaiming your divine feminine power and flourishing into the goddess that you are. And for many years, I've had women asking me for book recommendations, and there's so many amazing books out there. But I've had women who are completely new to the goddess path ask me what would be a great introductory book. I've had women deeply immersed into their goddess journey who are maybe even priestesses and coaches and healers themselves ask what I would recommend. And I've recommended over the years so many amazing books, but at the same time, I also felt that that was a sign, a calling for me to fulfill one of my greatest dreams, which is to share a book about the goddesses with my fellow sisters. So my intention with this book, Goddess Reclaimed, which is available on Amazon and also will be available through other bookstores like Barnes & Noble and iTunes online in a few weeks. My intention with this book, my loves, was to have it be that answer, whether you want to learn about the goddesses and your own sacred feminine power, or you're already deeply immersed in it, for you to have this journey, to have both. Yesterday, someone had posted a review, in my Facebook group, they had just shared that they found the book very inspiring and practical, and that was really helpful to hear because that's why I created this book. And this sister also happens to be a beautiful priestess herself, so it was such an honor to hear that from her. This book, my loves, is for you if you are wanting to learn about your sacred feminine power and are just on your journey of reclaiming your goddess power, right, in all these different ways. It's also for you if you are really deeply connected to the goddess and want to uncover new mythologies or learn more about them, or just deepen into your path. How I've written this book, my loves, and what I want to share with you if you are on your journey, whether or not you get the book, is in a way that really can create profound transformation. So it's a 13 initiation journey. Why 13? 13 is a sacred feminine number of the goddess because it corresponds to the lunar cycles we have in a year, as well as generally the monthly cycles of the goddesses, moon cycles, as in our periods, as well as women. So 13 is a very lucky and sacred and holy number of the goddess. So that's why 13 felt like the number that they wanted me to take you on in terms of this step-by-step and progressive journey. I'll share a little bit about how it was conceived. Last year, I went to UK for my wedding anniversary with my beloved husband, and we went to his homelands of Scotland and England. And specifically in England, we visited Avalon in Glastonbury. And over there, I was sitting at the Chalice Well, which is the beautiful well of the goddess, connecting with Bridget and Mother Mary, Mary Magdalene, all the beautiful Celtic goddesses and all goddesses at the well. And I had just offered myself to be of sacred service and asked, use me to be of the highest service to my sisters, and how can I just serve in a deeper way, in a more profound way. And they revealed to me this book, and it was like this beautiful, shining book, and it had been conceived. It's like they had impregnated me with it as I've offered myself as the vessel. And then they began to line up before me, and I immediately felt there were going to be 13 goddesses, and they started lining up, and I could see which goddesses were taking shape. And at the same time, a few of them towards the end were quite veiled and unclear to me. And it wasn't until I visited Egypt a few months later, so that was for my birthday this year, that they all really became crystal clear. And as I'll share with you, you'll learn why it took going to Egypt for the rest of the goddesses to reveal themselves. But the other part of the 13-step journey then is these goddesses came in a really specific order for a very specific purpose, and this is to support you in having profound transformation. So in my healing work as a coach, right, with my background in psychology and counseling, and then, you know, the spiritual healing, Reiki and yoga and meditation, all these different practices, both contemporary and spiritual and ancient, that I've been blessed to learn and reawaken on my path. How I work with my clients and how I've gone in my own life is, in order to come into our power, in order to flourish in every way, we have to make sure that we have cleared those self-sabotaging patterns that are often in not only our mind on a mental level with unconscious beliefs, but on a cellular level, and in my belief, in my line of work, really carried from past lives. So we need to do this work on a really deep level, and that is why how we embark on this journey step by step with 13 goddesses as they reveal themselves to me. I'll just share with you what this journey is like. Whether or not, or again, you get the book, I hope this serves you. So the first goddess is Sige, who is a Gnostic goddess. And by the way, I did have all the artwork custom commissioned. I was deeply involved in directing all the details with my beautiful artists. So this is all to honor the goddesses. And Sige, I just love that she's veiled, right? And because she is the goddess of silence. So the first step in reclaiming our feminine power and just coming back to the goddess is to stop all the doing and come into being. Just start being. And Sige is stillness and silence and the void through which all is birthed. So it requires this emptying and purging so that we can become these clear vessels. Sige births so many divine aeons, they're called, but these include love and faith and Sophia eventually, which is the goddess of wisdom. So she teaches us that as womb men, right, womb men, we need to enter that womb of the goddess, the emptiness, the darkness, in order to birth from our own womb Sophia, divine wisdom and love and faith and thought and intention and will and so many other gifts that Sige births. So that is number one. We begin with nothing. We begin with that emptying. And then when we get really centered and peaceful and clear, and in each chapter how it works is first you're introduced to the goddess and all her mythology, not all of it, but some of it, because they have so much mythology. Sometimes they're so rich with that, but I'll share the key mythology that they wanted me to share with you. And then I talk about how you can connect with them. Then we go on an initiation, because this is 13 initiation. So the initiation is usually some kind of embodied practice, whether it's a guided meditation or a dance or guided journaling, but some kind of beautiful embodied ritual. Because as women, we can't just read something and understand it intellectually. That's only one level of learning for us. We are so physical and intuitive and sensitive and connected to the earth and the physical that we need to have this embodied experience. So there are embodied practices in the initiations. And then afterwards, you have just wonderful details about the goddess. So there's just a lovely little list with all kinds of details, her attributes, her symbols, archetype, out of balance, how to create balance, and it always ends with a prayer or invocation and her sacred symbol again. So that is the gift. 3, is again a number of the goddess, the triple goddess, the maiden mother crone. So a lot of goddess numerology. And by the way, I didn't even notice, but the dimensions of the book are 5 by 8, which is also 13. And the number of pages is 444, which is 12, which the number eventually in numerology is 3. So there were intentional and also completely divinely orchestrated divine feminine numbers of the goddess, which is very magical. So my loves, as we move forward, the next part of our journey after Sige, what the goddesses wanted me to take you through was the descent into the underworld with the goddesses Inanna and Ereshkigal. So these are sister goddesses from the ancient Sumerian culture, such ancient wisdom there for us. And as you notice, there was a dark and light. So Ereshkigal is the queen of the underworld, and Inanna is the queen of heaven. And this is our shadow and our light. So before we can do all that manifesting and flourishing work, we need to make sure that we have healed the unconscious inner blocks, all those wounded parts of us that could sabotage our manifesting desires and co-creation process if they're not addressed, if they're not healed, right? So we delve deep into the underworld to face your shadow, to face your own inner queen of your wounds, of all the parts of yourself that need your acknowledgement, not to bypass them and shun them and try to, get away from the ego, but we actually face it with infinite compassion and self-acceptance and love, and witness it until it feels completely validated. And only then when we have that, that partnership, we can rise and resurrect as Inanna does. So this is a story of resurrection and renewal, and really coming into wholeness, embracing all of ourselves. And one of the greatest practices for self-love and self-empowerment is exactly that. It's embracing all of ourselves. And really that's one of my great intentions and hopes for you from this book, is that it will bring you to that place of true and complete and whole divine self-love. So then the next goddess we meet on the path to clear that heavy energy is Pele, the beautiful Hawaiian volcano goddess. And I love the ritual and initiation in there. It's very powerful and embodied. And Pele is your inner righteous wrath, right? And as women, with my clients so often, with my own journey, we're so afraid to touch that volcano inside of us because we're afraid of its power. We're afraid of our own power. And we have not been encouraged to touch that power, that rage, right? It's play nice, be good girls, avoid conflict, and just trying to appease and accommodate and understand and be patient all the time and be polite. And meanwhile, we can compromise so much on our real raw anger. And anger can be very righteous when it's about us feeling that someone has crossed my boundary. I have been disrespected. So Pele, like that volcano, she erupts. And that eruption of that fire, it does destroy what no longer serves. And yet that lava also, when it cools, it creates the Hawaiian Islands. So anger can be a very transformational force. And I really clear some of the misconceptions that we have around anger in the spiritual community, because we can definitely and absolutely and need to use it and channel it as a force for transformation. So Pele will really help you to transform what no longer serves you by honoring that rightful rage that you perhaps have never had a chance to acknowledge and release. Be free of it so that you can clear the path, as she does, to create those new islands, the new beginnings, the new dreams for your own self. Now, the next goddess that came through to support you on this journey, because as we know, once we are preparing to get ready for new beginnings, we are often met with our fears. So here then we have Kali, right? The beautiful Hindu badass warrior Kali. She's going to help you to face and overcome your fears. So again, fear, we're not trying to be fearless, because we're always going to be faced with fears in our human form. We're just going to develop that warrioress courage to face them. And also, as Kali is, she frees us. She's the liberator. She frees us of our attachments, of those parts of our lives, those toxic situations and patterns that we keep repeating or finding ourselves in and are really unconsciously and karmically recreating, so we can break free of them. And sometimes when we don't, she will make things so harsh and painful that we have no choice. So here we're going to do it in a really conscious way. We're going to invite her in to say, I'm ready, great goddess, great mother, great warrioress. Free me of all that's holding me back, all the ways that we hold ourselves back, so that we can really be those warrioresses and just dance that blissful dance of destruction of the old, overcoming our demons, all those inner fears and insecurities and doubts that keep us trapped, keep us playing small, keep us from being all that we came here to be, keep us from being who we truly are, so that we can be free to do all that and be all that. So Kali is there to liberate you, my loves. And then that's pretty intense so far, right? With those last three goddess archetypes. Now it's time to get gentle with the beautiful Buddhist goddess Kuan Yin. So Kuan Yin, as the goddess of compassion, now helps to just settle us on this journey and also to heal through the power of forgiveness. I talk really intimately about how I needed to forgive the men who had sexually assaulted me when I was a child. I had to forgive my parents for their abuse, and really through that forgiveness free my heart so that I no longer was a victim of other people's actions. You know, when I was a child, I was, but as an adult, to continue to feel that way and see myself made me feel very powerless, and it kept attracting patterns that reinforce that powerlessness, right? So Kuan Yin is there to really, with the grace of compassion and forgiveness, to clear and free and cleanse and purify your heart, your mind, your body, your soul, so that like that lotus flower, you can rise above whatever those muddy waters of your life have been, pure and radiant and beautiful and untainted. And then you're really preparing the way for our next goddess, which is one of my favorites. I'm a Taurus, like so many parts of my chart, and so I have a lot of Aphrodite in me. And that is our next goddess, the gorgeous, beautiful goddess of love, Aphrodite, who then helps you in, we've cleared so much, and now what we need to do is replenish, refill. So Aphrodite is there to ignite and erupt and reactivate your own divine essence of divine love and divine beauty and divine bliss and divine pleasure and desire and joy and laughter and ecstasy. So this is a lot about healing our shame and guilt around receiving, around our bodies, around our sexuality, body image. So there's a lot of that in there. And of course, self-love. And then through all of that, you know, really making ourselves open, beautiful, magnetic, irresistible vessels to divine soulmate romantic love if we want, to abundance, to friendships, to opportunities, because those are all the gifts of beautiful Aphrodite. And once we've reignited our inner Aphrodite, then what we want to do is get very clear on what is it that we want next, right? So the next goddess that came through for you, my loves, is the beautiful Tara. So Tara is a Tibetan Buddhist goddess, and she has many aspects, many names, many colors, many attributes, but the one she wanted to focus on here in this journey for you was her aspect as this divine star, your true North Star. And there's such a beautiful, inspiring initiation there, making wishes upon these stars and embodying the feelings of your desires manifest. So now, after all that purging and clearing and then reigniting with the goddess of love, you're ready and primed to get clear on your new intentions. What do you want? What do you deserve? What do you desire? Then we go even further to what does the divine desire for you. So you align your intentions, your visions, your dreams, your goals, your aspirations with the divine so that you can invite that infinite universal support in their most beautiful and miraculous manifestation. Now, while the universe completely supports you, we also have to take inspired action, which is why then we meet Athena. So Athena is the next gateway that you pass through, and beautiful Athena is going to help you to do your part to take that action, but from a place of intuition, wisdom, and inspiration. So she'll help you with that practical aspect of co-creating your dreams, but at the same time doing it in a joyful and balanced and inspired way. And she'll also remind you that life is not about the action, right? So let all your efforts be coming from the source. That's why we do Aphrodite first, the source of joy. Let it be joyful action. It doesn't mean it's not going to be hard work, right? Sometimes you really have to stay focused and clear and persevere. But if it's divinely guided and inspired and aligned with who we are and our highest good and being of the greatest service, then we have so much support from the inside out, and we're guided and blessed at every single step of our journey. So that's what Athena will help you with. And in order to make sure that you will then be true to yourself once you've done all this work, right, of connecting with what you desire, what you deserve, clearing away the fears and the self-sabotaging patterns, if anything else is still coming up for you, Lilith will take care of that. So Lilith is the badass goddess of feminine independence and authenticity. And she knows that when we begin to be true to ourselves, sometimes we face some consequences, right? Sometimes it means drawing boundaries. Sometimes it means speaking up. Sometimes it means saying no to a toxic situation so that we can make the time and the energy to create our dreams, what we really deserve and desire. And sometimes that means people might judge us. Sometimes it means someone might guilt trip us, right? And Lilith says you have to be true to yourself, because if you're not true to yourself, then the world, people can't be true to you. It's like self-betrayal is the greatest sin as far as Lilith is concerned. So Lilith comes in to really give you those wings to fly free and to stand in your power and to claim your divine worth and right to be true to yourself. Okay, so she's really going to help you to connect with that divine power, and in so many other ways. Like, she helps women to own our sexuality, to own our power, to be equals, to demand and command equal opportunity, fairness. So she's that ultimate woman's advocate that will really help to empower you, my love. So I'm so happy Lilith had come through. And then the next goddess we meet is the beautiful African Orisha goddess Yemanya or Yemanja. So many different pronunciations of her name, but she is now going to help us to integrate all this in that beautiful feminine cyclical way, connected to the moon, connected to the womb, connected to the ocean. So she's the ocean goddess. She's connected to the moon. She's the mother of all. And she is how we reconnect with our feminine cycles of creation. And it's a cycle, right? So there's the maiden mother crone cycle that I talk about in there, harnessing your period. If you're a menstruating woman, how to harness your cycles, you know, in menopause. So it's really about reconnecting with the wisdom of our wombs, as well as the moon. So it's just so beautiful. And you learn about this triple goddess cycle that Yemanya shares. Now, she's not officially known as a triple goddess, but as the goddess of the moon phases and the ocean and the mother and the waves, she is that goddess of cycles. So she is really going to help you to awaken, and as water, the element of the womb and the moon. And so just in so many ways, she's going to help us to do a lot of womb healing, as well as to learn how to live our life in beautiful cyclical flow and magic with the cycles of nature, which are really our cycles, right, as goddesses. So once we are beginning to live in this beautiful magical flow, we are ready to bring in that abundance, to manifest, to create, to share, to enjoy. So now we meet the beautiful goddess Pachamama, the mother goddess, and this is all about opening to receive, clearing any remaining blocks we have to receptivity and attraction. I really focus a lot there on self-worth, and also still some boundary setting, giving and receiving in balance, because this is something so many of us sensitive women struggle with, or women in general, but especially those of us who are the highly sensitive, intuitive, compassionate, healer, helper types. We tend to give so much, and Pachamama there is teaching us how to receive and how to give and receive in balance, so that we can really live abundant and fulfilling, overflowing lives, and then share from this place of fullness and fulfillment and wholeness. So she is a very beautiful, powerful goddess that we meet. And then as we are coming to wrap up our journey, the second last goddess, one of my favorites. I know I keep saying that for all of them because I love all my goddesses, but we meet Bridget. So Celtic triple goddess Bridget is showing up here in her form as the wise woman. So this is really reconnecting with your wise woman gifts as a healer, as a priestess, as a witch, as a creatrix. And I talk about the witch hunts and how we women have been punished for so long for our power, for our gifts that are connected to nature, that are connected to bringing the divine on earth, having this connection with heaven and earth now, right? Healing with herbs and crystals and tarot and oracle and hands and energy, and the divine channeling that through us instead of going through a third party, doing for ourselves, because God, goddess is part of us and we are part of the divine, right? We're all one. So this is really about reclaiming our divine wise woman, our healer, our sorceress, our priestess. And healing this not only for ourselves, but in this initiation, we heal it for all women everywhere, because we really, really need to come back to our power. Our world really needs us. It needs the feminine to heal, to come back into balance. And we women have to rise up into that. So we reignite that flame, the fire of Bridget, to cleanse and transmute the pains of the past that we've shared collectively and through our own lifetimes and the present time in this world and in our lives, so that we can stand in our wisdom and our feminine power and heal together and bring this gift back to the world and feel really safe in doing so, because I know that's one of the greater challenges that I myself have had to heal so much. And so finally, my loves, this is why we went to Egypt. Isis, the beautiful Egyptian queen, mother, goddess of all. Isis crowns you into your sovereign power. Now you're going to take your seat. Isis is going to be there to just culminate and integrate and alchemize everything that you have awakened, so that you are now sitting as your full woman goddess self. And this does not mean trying to be perfect or anything to do with that. This is about embracing your human and divine self, right? The light and the dark, the grief and the ecstasy, the times where we don't know what to do and we have to surrender, and the times where we are so clear and powerful, all of it. So she integrates all of that so beautifully, all the goddesses that you have awakened. And then she takes it to the next level by really awakening all divine feminine power within you, so that you sit in that, rest in that like a queen. And as the queen, become that leader in the world. You don't necessarily have to take on a leadership role, in any kind of organization, or have to get credibility or qualifications. You are a leader when you step into your own power. You simply lead through your inspiration, through your example, and you give us women, all of us, the permission, by seeing you, by witnessing you, to feel that it's okay for me to rise as well. And then we all come together as queens, and we honor each other as we wear our crowns, and we bring that healing of the feminine back into the world. So Isis brings all that back together for you towards the end, my loves, and that is how this whole journey culminates, and that's what we celebrate at the end. So this has been such a profound journey for me. I've gone through these initiations myself, and I'm so grateful for how they've come through in the book. And if you feel guided to get it, you can find it right now. I'll leave a link for you on my website, flourishinggoddess.com. And because if you go through my website, then you'll also get some bonus gifts that you won't necessarily get if you directly buy from Amazon. But I would just so love for you to have this if you feel guided to get it, and get it for your friends or women that you feel would really be empowered by reconnecting with their feminine wisdom and their sacred feminine gifts. I've written it so that it's accessible to all of us women, right? This is not about goddess worship. This book is about connecting with the goddesses however you feel comfortable. I talk a lot about that in the intro. You can connect with them as sacred feminine aspects of yourself, as myths, as archetypes, or as deities. However you feel most comfortable, whatever your religious or spiritual beliefs or background, my intention and hope is that they honor and support you, and just really reconnecting with the divine feminine, with the goddess that is already inside of you. And that is my hope. So I hope that this has served you, and I hope that whether or not you get the book, that you have been inspired by this journey that I have shared, and wherever you are in your journey, that you know that you have all these incredible, powerful allies already existing inside of you. These goddesses are you. And maybe you don't feel connected, and it's just a matter of activating them. But they're waiting inside of you to awaken, for you to just reconnect with them. So they're already in you, my love. So I hope that this book, if you feel called, serves as a small tool to support you in reconnecting with them, reactivating them, so that you can fully and completely reclaim your divine feminine power. That's why I do all that I do in my sacred work. I hope this has supported you. Leave me comments if you've read the book. We have Facebook groups that you can a Facebook group that you can join. Let me know how your journey is going. You can share your experiences about your initiation there, or you can just leave comments here if you get the book, if you have questions about it. And I just I hope that it really serves you. So thank you so much for joining me on my journey as I continue to share as I'm guided and inspired. And I pray that in all that I do, may it be of the highest service to you. I'm sending you so much love. Namaste.